Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Right now, a storm system is bringing heavy rain and cold temperatures to San Diego County. Our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, is tracking the storm from her home tonight. Hello, Angelica.
Hi, Steve. I wish I could tell you it was almost over, but this thing is just getting started. And rain has been nonstop, with many areas already picking up more than 1 inch of rain. So let's take a look at the current conditions. You can see it in our pinpoint Doppler live. It is green almost everywhere. As we get a little bit closer to the North County, you can see showers extending along the 15 from Bonzo all the way down towards Escondido, Rancho Bernardo. A couple of breaks now from Oceanside down towards Encinitas. But in Solana Beach, those showers will be on and off at least for the next 30 minutes. Making our way south, the rain gets a little bit heavier just east of San Diego and Lemon Grove, and also in La Mesa. In Chula Vista, one of the places that hasn't really seen much today, it is raining pretty heavy right now. I'll pinpoint how much rain is on the way for the entire week.
Angelica, thank you. All right, we have some breaking news. A fire is tearing through a shopping center in Kearny, Mesa. Flames were seen pouring out of the windows and of the top floor. And our photojournalist, Paul Anderay, gets live in our 10 News breaking news tracker. So, Paul, what is the situation right now?
Yeah, this strip mall here at at Convoy and Engineer Road has just been devastated by flames. You can see what it looks like now. They're still fighting active fire. This is a 3-alarm fire at this point. You can see there's still rain here, which hopefully is helping them a little bit. I'll show you some video of what this looked like about an hour ago. Now, this fire was dispatched shortly before 9:30 tonight. When fire department arrived, they found fire coming from the eaves of one of the units. Shortly thereafter, the fire spread along the eaves and also into the inside of the building, and that's when they had a backdraft situation. We actually heard those scary words on the scanner, the firefighters yelling, "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday," making sure they had no one inside. As what they said on the radio, a flashover and backdraft occurred. Fortunately, no firefighters were injured, but from that point on, they called for a second alarm. It continued to spread through the building. Eventually, they requested a third alarm. So right now, Convoy is closed for several blocks in both directions here at Engineer Road. The road is just filled with fire trucks as far as the eye can see. Many restaurants here in the strip mall have been destroyed. We're obviously going to stay on scene here. We're going to bring you more on 10 News this morning. Back to you.
Quite a response. Paul, thank you. All right, for the first time in over a week, no new deaths related to coronavirus have been reported in San Diego County. 78 more people have tested positive for the virus since yesterday. That brings the total now to 1,404. Around the U.S. right now, there are more than 360,000 confirmed cases, but more than 19,000 people here in the U.S. have recovered from COVID-19.
If he didn't think that information was going to get out into the public, then he was A, too naive or too stupid to be the commanding officer of a ship like this.
And now to the ongoing story involving an outbreak of coronavirus on the USS Roosevelt. The acting Secretary of the Navy, who you just heard there, is now apologizing tonight for those remarks he made about the ship's former captain. You may recall that Captain was fired last week for sounding the alarm about the rising number of cases on board. Our 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena shows us why the president now says he may get involved.
This was how Captain Brett Crozier left his ship last week, amid an outpouring of support despite being relieved of duty. A memo he'd sent asking for more to be done about an outbreak of coronavirus on the USS Roosevelt was leaked. The acting Secretary of the Navy then coming to Guam to address the crew. You can hear the reaction of some of those on board.
If he didn't think that information was going to get out into the public, then he was A, too naive or too stupid to be the commanding officer of a ship like this.
But just hours later, Acting Navy Secretary Thomas Modly issued a statement apologizing to the captain, who has now tested positive for coronavirus. Let me be clear, I do not think Captain Brett Crozier is naive nor stupid. I think and always believed him to be the opposite. 10 News military expert Bob Lawrence says it's obvious there's plenty of support for Captain Crozier.
Most who see this story don't see this as a violation of anything. And I say most.
But it remains a military situation, subject to different guidelines and rules. Today, President Trump weighing in.
I'm going to get involved and see exactly what's going on there, because I don't want to destroy somebody for having a bad day.
In this particular case, it may be judged that maybe it was the right thing to do, to really sound the alarm.
Lindsay Pena, 10 News.
History may tell. San Diego MTS has confirmed that one bus driver tested positive for COVID-19. That driver worked these routes you see on your screen between March 31st and April 2nd. MTS says the bus operator was not showing any symptoms while driving and had limited contact with passengers. This person started feeling sick on Thursday, did not report for work the next day. Now, starting next Monday, 70% of the bus routes will operate with reduced service. Trolley lines will operate at nearly normal schedules. MTS says it is reducing service because ridership is down under the stay-at-home orders. They say that it also is a measure to protect health of their employees.
So it is to provide us an insurance policy with minimizing the time that our employees have to be out in the public, but building up a reserve of drivers as we begin to see more and more absenteeism.
MTS does want to reiterate their service is in place only to serve those who rely on it for essential businesses. Just days after the Otay Mesa Detention Center confirmed its first case of COVID-19, several other cases have since popped up. As of Sunday, ICE says there are 4 people who have tested positive for COVID-19. Those people are a 54-year-old Mexican national, a 35-year-old Cameroonian national, a 28-year-old Chinese national, and a 23-year-old Honduran national. ICE says that those who have come in contact with these individuals have been notified and are being monitored for symptoms. New tonight, after days of searching, the body of Robert F. Kennedy's missing granddaughter has been found. Divers recovered the body of Maeve Kennedy Townsend McKean in the Chesapeake Bay. The 41-year-old was found just a couple of miles from her family's home in Maryland. She and her 8-year-old son, Gideon, went missing Thursday after their canoe disappeared in choppy waters. The search for Gideon will resume tomorrow. Authorities do presume that he is dead. County leaders are trying to clarify who is now required to wear a mask. The order applies to workers in the fields you see on your screen. Those are grocery store workers, convenience stores, pharmacies, gas stations, and restaurants. Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says the county is not telling businesses they have to provide the masks for their employees.
For those 5 entities where it is required that the employees have a face covering, it is the responsibility of the employer to ensure compliance with that order. Now, the employer can do it collaboratively with their employees. If people can provide their own, that's great. If the employer wants to provide them all, that's great too. But it is ultimately the responsibility of the employer to ensure compliance with the order.
Today, the county also revealed one of its Emergency Operations Center employees did test positive for coronavirus. Dr. Eric McDonald from the county said all workers who needed to know about the positive test, they were also notified. And hundreds of San Diego City workers thought they'd be back on the job Monday, only to be told just days ago not to show up to work. When asked today how many workers had been furloughed and the reasoning behind this move, this is what the mayor had to say.
There's some new regulations that are kicking in right now in terms of the leave. We've been having paid leave for 3 months. Now some of these new federal regulations will kick in. And we're working with all of our employee groups to make sure that we minimize any impacts to our non-essential employees who have been out there doing phenomenal and great work. Obviously, the work of fire, rescue, police department, all of that will continue and is continuing, and we're going to continue to work with our employees as we move forward. We're going to need to make some difficult decisions as a city.
The city is struggling to find ways to compensate for millions of dollars in lost tax revenue during this pandemic. Last week, leaders estimated the loss at around $109 million. More homeless San Diegans are moving into the convention center this week. Today, the city revealed that over 800 people will be staying there by Wednesday. That includes about 200 people moved from Father Joe's villages. People living in the lower level of Golden Hall will be moving into the convention center as well. The city says this will help centralize services and maximize staffing. People staying there and the staff, they are being monitored by nurses each and every day.